This video is brought to you by me. For $1 a month, you can support the channel directly and help me keep doing what I love. Thanks for watching and supporting. Warning: this video contains full spoilers for the entire story of inFamous. When the first entry in the inFamous series was released in 2009, superheroes weren't as much of a given in everyday life as they are now. Sure, we had comic books, but we were only a year removed from the Iron Man release in theaters, and the MCU itself only really existed as a timeline of movies that were years from coming out. So if you're as burned out on Marvel and DC movies as I am, looking back on it now, it's almost hard to believe that inFamous was filling a void people were really craving to be plugged. I'm not really sure what possessed me to go back and play the first game other than wanting to play something pretty different, something I hadn't played in a while, but now that I've gone back and played inFamous, even with the overwhelming amount of superhero stuff, inFamous tackles an important angle rarely discussed on the big screen. Sometimes to be the hero, you have to give up everything.
With time, I'm learning to control it, master it. Just hope it's not too late.
inFamous lets players take control of Cole McGrath, an everyman kind of character whose whole life changes one day. During one of his run-of-the-mill bike messenger deliveries, one of the packages he is instructed to open by a mysterious phone call explodes, leaving a crater surrounding Cole, and more jarringly, vaporizes everyone in a 6-block vicinity. Inside the package was a device known as the Ray Sphere, a powerful object that has the ability to waken a conduit gene in people and give them extraordinary powers. After barely surviving, Cole realizes he has the ability to bend electricity on a whim. The explosion awakens the gene and gives Cole his powers. As he comes to grips with his newfound abilities, the government moves into the city, surrounding it and quarantining it from the rest of the country. Empire City devolves into a panic as all the systems in place to keep people safe, like resource management and hospitals, are now left up to the people trapped within the city. It's not going well. Entire sections of the city lose power as coordinated gangs sweep in and try to rise to power and gain the edge over the innocent civilians. The microcosm of anarchy is a perfect backdrop for Cole's story, as it shows how people will respond when order and societal norms fall by the wayside. It mirrors the morality system in place in inFamous, which is one of the major features of the game and something we'll talk about when we get to the story. Cole's abilities start off basic, and by basic I mean as basic as you can get for someone shooting electricity from his hands like bullets out of a gun. As he gains experience, he can upgrade his powers further to do more damage, and more importantly, can reduce how much damage enemies can do to him. But the biggest powers come through underground substations and restoring power to the blacked out regions of the map. Entering these areas initially is dangerous for Cole, as he has no way to heal himself or recharge his batteries, no pun intended. But as you progress through the underground mazes and complete the circuits to the power grid, Cole gets a boost of energy and brand new powers. He gains the ability to shield himself with electricity and rain down lightning bolts from the skies to destroy everything in his path. The only thing Cole isn't great at is fist-to-fist combat. While you can punch enemies, the game works best as a third-person shooter kind of experience where taking enemies out from a distance is the smarter way to go. And Cole needs every advantage he can get. While enemies begin as pushovers who can barely hold their weapons, the enemies get upgrades of their own. They start to commandeer turrets, machine guns, armor, and some of them even appear to be conduits themselves. But tilting the scales further into Cole's favor is his ability to scale buildings easily by finding footholds and handholds in just about everything. He also takes no fall damage if he needs to make a quick escape by jumping off a roof. This method of traversal is super satisfying, fast, and easy. It makes navigating the city painless and only gets faster as Cole gets the ability to grind on power lines and train tracks. The combat and parkour makes this game a blast from start to finish, and when the credits rolled, I considered playing the sequel immediately after it, and ended up doing so. That video will be coming out soon, and if it's already out by the time you're watching it, click the link above to watch it after this one. An FBI agent named Moya, who is in charge of the Empire City Federal Response, takes notice of Cole and forces him to join forces with her to dig up information on her missing husband, John White. He was sent as an undercover operative into the First Sons, one of the groups ruling the streets, in order to learn about the Ray Sphere. He has been missing since the blast. She warns Cole that if he doesn't help her, she'll be replaced by an agent who wants a more drastic response, i.e. someone who wants to nuke the city and start over, essentially. Cole is caught between a nuke and a hard place, and he sees how he's being used as more of a tool than he is as a person. He's an outcast now, someone with a trait that can be manipulated and abused to get what you want from him, and then you can cast him aside. Cole, essentially alone in the city, only has one person in his corner, Zeke. Zeke is Cole's best friend, yet he's also a liability the entire game as he only looks out for himself, essentially strapping himself to Cole as he skyrockets to notoriety or fame. But I can't really blame Cole. Zeke is his only link to the normalcy of the days before the blast, and he needs him to stick around. In spite of openly pushing Cole to use his powers for his own benefit, Zeke mostly still treats Cole like he did before. He and Cole reminisce a lot of the time, very convenient for exposition's sake. But without Zeke, Cole has nothing, no one to speak to, so he continually forgives Zeke for his many missteps and selfish requests. He also helps drive the story forward in a way, pushing Cole toward karmic decisions. After getting his powers, Cole has a choice to make. Does he use his newfound advantages to make his life easier by placing his needs and interests above the citizens of Empire City, or do his powers place the responsibility on his shoulders to stand up for the people who are mostly defenseless in the quarantine? That's up for the players to decide as the game allows them to make moral choices as the game goes on. They can shape Cole into a guardian of the people, or they can mold him into a god of destruction, killing anyone in sight with no remorse. In terms of gameplay effects on your desired playstyle, Cole's moral standing exists on a black and white spectrum, or in this case, blue and red. As one of the earlier examples of a karmic system in a video game, there were bound to be some shortcomings at first, and in a lot of ways the system falls short by having little effect on the story at all. All of the decisions you make are presented as absolutes. You can be what the game deems as the good guy or the bad guy, and I think that limits how effective it is in letting you see the results of your actions. None of your decisions have repercussions. Take for instance one of the first morality tests where a care package drops into the city in a box and Cole can decide whether or not he wants to take all the food for himself or share it with other people who need it. As a morality moment, it sets the tone early about what kind of character you want Cole to be. However, food isn't a trackable resource in inFamous. On my playthrough, I played as the hero because in my opinion, it was more of a challenge than slaying your way through citizens to game the system and get maximum evil early. I decided in this instance, as the hero, to share the food. I got my heroic boost and that was it. I didn't need to then scavenge for food. Instead, these moments simply act as a way to add more experience to a metaphorical meter that helps you unlock new powers. As Cole becomes more of a good guy or more of a villain, he unlocks abilities exclusively locked to that karma like it's some kind of simplified skill tree. On the other hand, I found that morality was more important during gameplay as you could accidentally push yourself onto a more evil track if you weren't careful. Like I could clear out this horde of enemies with an electricity grenade, but if I'm frivolous about it, I might accidentally kill civilians who are too close to the blast. It's not a total failure as a system, but to me it's a bit too cut and dry. When you are faced with a morality choice, the options are labeled blue or red, making it incredibly obvious what each choice will do. There's no gray area at all, which lets down the system. Take for instance an opportunity for a gray moral choice that doesn't play out. During one mission, you are chasing down a villain and you cross a person hanging upside down by their feet. It's not immediately apparent why he's like that, but in the crowd you hear people talking about how the person stole their food. You are given the choice to free the person and let him down, the good choice, or you can leave him there, the evil choice. To me though, that's not a cut and dry situation. I'm not saying hanging someone upside down is a good form of punishment, no matter how many times my elementary school teachers threatened to do that to us when we misbehaved, but all I'm saying is Cole walked into a situation without much information and made a judgment call. If you set the person free, the game sees you as making a good choice. However, in reality, you're telling the people who strung this person up that stealing food doesn't deserve consequences. And again, I'm not supporting capital punishment, but Cole chooses a side in this situation he wasn't directly involved in that pisses someone off no matter which side he chooses. And in what the game deems to be the good scenario, you should be walking away from a big angry mob of people who you just told their problems aren't valid. But nothing changes when you cut down their prisoner, and to me that's a failure of the system. Even though you have the option to choose between good and evil, inFamous doesn't paint itself as a positive story, and more often than not, it's really grim a lot of the time. It tackles the journey of a person who had this responsibility thrust upon him. In fact, I think had the game gone with fully animated cutscenes over the cool, stylized, and exaggerated comic strip cutscenes, there's an argument to be made that this game could have been rated M. After Cole makes his first karmic decision, people start to take notice. As he makes his way around the city, taking side jobs and ridding the streets of gangs, it isn't long before the super powerful leaders of these factions start seeing Cole as a threat. These people are conduits themselves, and this town's only big enough for one of them. Sasha is the leader of the Reapers, one of the gangs taking over the streets and former members of the First Sons, and Alden Tate is the son of the former leader of the First Sons, but he split off to form his own group known as the Dustmen once he was exiled from the group by Kessler, a mysterious figure who reveals himself to Cole in the Neon District of Empire City. Tate is Cole's main nemesis through much of the story. After restoring much of the power to Empire City, John White actually reaches out to Cole over the phone via a secured line, telling him it's time they finally meet. During the conversation, Cole brings up Moya, John's supposed wife. Cole's been set up. Moya isn't John's wife at all, but rather another agent trying to track him down and take him in for questioning. After trying to meet at a secret location, John is spooked by a helicopter that followed Cole to the meeting. Despite feeling betrayed, John doesn't feel like he has many options for help and reaches back out to Cole. He gives him the instructions to take Zeke to the trash tower and confront Tate. He has the ray sphere and it's time to get it back. The trash tower is exactly what it sounds like. It's a monument to trash, and as such, it's jagged and rough to navigate. This is the best platforming section in the game because Cole must parkour his way through the exterior of the building while trying not to look down and fall. I wish the game featured more of this kind of puzzle platforming, because on your way up, you feel the tension building toward a showdown. As Cole scales the building, he has to take his friend with less upper body strength, Zeke, into account. Using his shockwave, Cole can activate elevators to bring Zeke up the tower, and as he does, enemies try to gun them down. After reaching the peak of both the tower and the platforming segments of the game, Cole is greeted by Kessler and Tate. A showdown ensues with Cole fighting Tate while Zeke is commanded to secure the ray sphere. In an opportune moment, Zeke gets a hold of it. Only Zeke can't help himself. He activates the ray sphere, hoping to give himself the powers his best friend had, only to be disappointed when the device powers down, leaving him powerless and now friendless. Kessler appears on the rooftop and promises Zeke powers if he offers him help in return, and they take off together. Cole is now alone. He has no girlfriend, no friends, and this massive task to save the city on his own now. It's hard to watch and look at, seeing Cole left alone at the top of this tower. He's betrayed again after being used by the FBI to get what they want. His own best friend used him to get the powers that kept him in his shadow and failed. While Sasha and her powers to create poisonous sludge, and Tate with his superpowers that lead the Dustmen, another group, are problems enough for Cole and Empire City, the true concern is Kessler. He's the one pulling the strings and putting Cole through his trials. After disposing of Sasha and the Reapers and Tate and the Dustmen, Cole's sights set on Kessler and taking him out. But he won't back down so easily. Kessler starts to toy with Cole, going straight for his heart. He sets up a horrible task for Cole to test his humanity and how good he is. At the top of a building, a bunch of doctors are bound and dangling above the asphalt many floors below with bombs rigged to take out the supports, sending them plummeting to the ground. On the other side of the building hangs Trish, Cole's former girlfriend. Kessler informs him that he must make a choice, save the many doctors that can no doubt save many lives, or make the selfish choice to save Trish. From the very beginning of the game, Cole's relationship with Trish is strained. She can hardly look at him because of losing her sister in the blast, and he is a constant reminder of her grief. Understandably, Trish attempts to distance herself from Cole because of her loss, but as Cole follows the hero's path, regaining Trish's trust is one of his main goals as he acknowledges her feelings, while also trying to prove that he's not the monster she associates him to be. This should be the biggest karmic decision of the game, but it's kneecapped by the story needing to reach the pre-decided conclusion down the road, and I'll get to why. I made the positive karmic choice of saving the many over Cole's needs. As Cole saves the doctors, the bomb goes off, sending Trish falling. Unable to catch her, Cole watches as she falls. In her final moment, she tells Cole how proud she is of him for choosing to use his powers for good. After burying her, Cole vows to make Kessler pay for stripping him of everything. As he loses Trish, he also loses his moral compass, the person he was trying more than anything to prove himself to. And now, just when things are starting to look up between them, she's ripped away from him. On the opposite side of the moral spectrum, if Cole decides to save Trish over the doctors, she is horrified with Cole. And she falls to her death anyway. So good or bad, it doesn't matter. That's so frustrating to me. And I think it's another reason why the karma system just doesn't deliver on what was promised. Zeke tries to reach out to Cole, but Cole refuses to talk to him. In a large way, Zeke did this. He's part of the reason Trish is dead. After ducking Zeke's calls, John and Cole team up to get the Ray Sphere back once and for all. This involves fighting the First Sons head-on and fighting their way through waves of enemies to get to the Ray Sphere. Once they finally get there, Cole tries to use it one more time, but instead of activating it, the device breaks open, sending a wave of energy outward that swallows John whole. Kessler was waiting for this moment and calls out to Cole, telling him it's time to meet at the site where this all started. The two face off, engaging in this trippy battle for the ages. After Zeke comes in unexpectedly and distracts Kessler long enough for Cole to get some hits in, Kessler grabs Cole's skull and sends visions into his mind that explains the mystery behind him. Kessler and Cole are one person. Kessler is who Cole will become in the future, a future Kessler wants to prevent. A beast will rage war on the world and consume it, annihilating humanity in its wake. While Kessler had his own powers to fight the beast, he decided to go back in time and give Cole his powers early in order to allow him to train and become stronger when the time came to fight the beast. In Kessler's timeline, he married Trish and started a family and then failed to protect them. So to make sure Cole is focused on his task at hand, Kessler removed Trish from the equation while fueling Cole's rage. After the visions cease, Kessler dies from the injuries he sustained during he and Cole's fight, and Cole vows that he will be ready to face the beast when the time comes. Cole's story isn't an uplifting tale. It doesn't let you live the fantasy of waking up with powers that change your life for the better overnight like Spider-Man. These powers are a burden. On top of being taken advantage of by a federal agent, Cole is blamed by his girlfriend Trish for causing her sister to die in the blast, and she leaves him because looking at him reminds her of what happened. That's pretty heavy. Cole has to learn to face himself before accepting any of these abilities. Throughout the entire plot, he faces blame, guilt, loss, and it all happens over the course of 21 days. 3 weeks. That's a lot of grief in a short period of time, and as someone who just lost 2 close people in about that amount of time, I can't imagine trying to grieve in the public forum. I don't envy Cole. He wasn't given a choice in his fate, and much like how choosing between right and wrong doesn't affect the outcome of the story, Cole's powers were thrust upon him from the moment the game started. He can kick and scream all he wants, but due to powers outside of his control, his time in the spotlight was always going to come. When the credits roll, Cole is in a worse place than when he began. In the beginning, he was a bike messenger who dropped out of high school despite his parents, content with the life he had. And now he has nothing. Standing on a rooftop, he's lonelier than he has ever been. The love of his life is dead, his best friend betrayed him, he was lied to and used by the government for their own bidding. He's a tragic hero who did the right thing and is worse off for it. And to me, that's what makes this game amazing. It's raw and emotional, it isn't sugar-coated. Failed karmic decision mechanic aside, the story is what pushes this game over the top. The closer we get to the end, the worse off our hero is. And I think that's an incredibly powerful story to tell. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked the video, consider leaving a like on it. If you want to see more videos by me, click that subscribe button and hit the bell to make sure you never miss an upload. If you want to support the channel, consider sharing this video or one of my other videos with a friend who might appreciate them. Or if you want to support the channel directly, you can check out my Patreon in the link below. I'd like to take a minute and thank my higher tier patrons by name: Andrew Lang, 8-Bit Jesus, Sebastian Pereira, and Andrew Elmore. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video.